All right, let's give this another shot, another try. We are back. We are live. And I apologize about this, but I'm going to go ahead and just give you a little disclaimer. Anytime you get technology involved and you want to do something, you're on hotel internet, you're dealing with an update on the computer, everything just went haywire. So I apologize on that. Appreciate you guys waiting. Hopefully you're tuned in. But this is the home field advantage inside show, and I've got a couple guests with me. I'm going to get these guys introduced, and we're going to get rocking and rolling. So we are not wasting any more of your time. Once again, my name is Big Hurt, and I am your media guy here for the HFA. I've got J-Rock and I've got Sam Poison with me. I'll introduce these guys here shortly. HFA's home field advantage. We have a college football 26 dynasty that we are well into week 15, almost conference championship week. We have much more to offer. J-Rock being the founder and Silent Poison is our commissioner here inside the College Football League. So with further ado, let's get these guys introduced and a part of this show. We are week 15. What is up, gentlemen? I've got J-Rock, the founder, commissioner, owner of Texas Tech, and I've got Silent Poison, co-commissioner and the head coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions. How's it going, guys?
Doing pretty good. I'm sorry about that, Rock. I'm doing great. We are Penn State, baby. Let's go.
Anyways, with that, I mean, that just ruined everything. But
get a life, you Cornhusker.
J-Rock, you with us?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. All right, buddy. We are week 15. We are almost through the first season of our home field advantage college football 26 dynasty. We've got so much to cover, to talk about. Let's give our folks a little of what they're tuning into and what they're tuning in for to listen to. As you can see on my screen, I'm inside the league. I am the Nebraska Cornhuskers. But we are just going to do a quickly recap, and then we'll jump into some stats. We are week 15 currently. That is the Army Navy week. Pull this up. So, yeah, Army Navy week this week. I believe this is a 24-hour advance. Is that correct? Am I correct on that?
Yes, sir. 24-hour advance. Hey, real quick, I'm going to point out a comment in our chat. Hollow wants to know if we can turn up the output sound on the actual broadcast.
Well, on my end, it's showing that the bars are all the way into the yellow, almost red. So if I turn it up, it's going to start cracking. I'm wondering if you could turn his sound up on his end, or is it all the way up? But I did give it a little bit of juice. Let me know if that helps. But this is actually a little bit higher than what I've had it ever, so it should be good.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we are week 15, Army Navy week. You said this is a 24-hour advance?
Yeah, 24-hour advance period for this area. We're going to do the advance tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific Northwest time, which is 9 Eastern. Then the next one is going to be...
he said turn the sound. Can you turn the sound up? And then I turned it up, and he said, oh, good, it's just loud. Do you want me to turn it up or down? Because I feel like it's up, so it should be very loud. Do you want me to turn it down?
Oh, he said it's all good now.
Okay. So we're advancing tomorrow night at 6. That will be advancing to the conference championship week. Conference championship week, let's go ahead and we'll cover that here in a little bit. We'll look at that. But with further ado, let's dive into our first topic. We are complete without conference championship week, without any bowl games. We're going to take a look at some stats for you guys. So season 1 is pretty much in the books for the regular season. We're going to jump over, and I'm going to turn it over to these guys and let these guys talk about some stats here. These guys are more prepared on the stats front of things than I am. So whoever wants to take it over from there.
All right. First things first, let's go ahead and jump into the season stats, and we're going to talk about quarterbacks. If you can get over to the national settings, and then first thing I want to do is I would like us to sort this by touchdowns for everyone, and I'll kind of wait for you to get there. And then one thing that I want to do starting off real fast is I kind of want to throw a special shout out to the guys who made the 3,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. So let's get it sorted by touchdowns. So real quick, we're just going to throw a shout out to Austin Simmons at Ole Miss. Whoops, hold on one second. Austin.
That wasn't even 3,000 yards. That was 4,000 yards.
Oh yeah, he went off 4,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. I'm only giving shout outs to 3,000 yards and 30 touchdown guys because we're at the end of the season and I feel like that's great. So Austin Simmons, who killed it this year, over 4,000 yards, 46 touchdowns, Ole Miss user. Arch Manning with 3,400 yards, 45 touchdowns of Texas. That's King. Then we go down to Gunnar Stockton, University of Georgia, with 3,600 yards, 37 touchdowns. That's Hollow. We got Garrett Nussmeier with 3,135 touchdowns. That's Roverhead. We got Marcel Reed and T. Jenkins with 3,600 yards, 35 touchdowns. We've got DJ Lagway, the Courageous Beaver for the Florida Gators, with 3,200 yards, 34 touchdowns. We got Big Hurt here representing Nebraska with Dylan Riola at 3,500 yards with 33 touchdowns. Haynes King of Georgia Tech, our Yellow Jackets user, he came in and busted out with the 3,200 yards and 32 touchdowns. Then we got Bro Jules representing Alabama with Keelan Russell with 3,400 yards and 32 touchdowns. Then we've got Jaden Maeva with 3,600 yards and 30 touchdowns. And then we've got Baron Morton with barely over 3,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. That's the Texas Tech user. And then we have, and that's it. But I am going to throw a couple of shout outs to Drew Allor, who barely missed that 3,000 yard mark, but hit 31 touchdowns. Then we've got Sawyer Robinson with 3,400 yards, but just fell short of that 30 touchdown with 29. And then Julian Sand with 3,200 yards and also 29 touchdowns. Just a shout out to you guys, and that's also kind of going to be our league leaders as far as touchdowns go. Now, if we sort over to our yardage, it looks like we have, like I said, Austin Simmons is leading the way with 4,044. We've got Marcel Reed of A&M with 3,600. Gunnar Stockton with 3,600. Jaden Maeva also with 3,600. And then Dylan Riola in that fifth spot out of users with 3,592 as far as yardage goes. Then we'll go over and sort to our most accurate guys on the season. And number one would be Baron Morton, Texas Tech, with 79%. Then we've got Keelan Russell of Alabama coming in at 75%. We got Haynes King in third place at 74%. Then we got Drew Allor with 74% in fourth place. And then we got Arch Manning closing out our top 5 most accurate passers with 73% on the season. All right, guys. So now let's talk about impact. For me, I felt like the biggest impact quarterback that we had on the season was Austin Simmons coming out having 4,044 yards and 46 touchdowns. Shout out to Ryan, who's a team manager of Ole Miss. I felt like without Austin Simmons, he might have had a different type of season. But the way that he played with him and tied everything together put him on that bubble. And I know it's a very short chance that he gets in, but he is on that bubble to possibly make the playoffs. So big shout out to him. Silent, I'm going to throw it over to you. Who do you feel like is your most impactful quarterback on the season?
It's got to be Austin Simmons. I mean, 46 touchdowns with 4,000 yards and only 10 interceptions thrown. That is insane. That is completely insane throughout the entire season.
Absolutely. Big Hurt, what's your thoughts? Who do you think's the biggest impact quarterback?
I think there's a lot of guys that we can talk about. I mean, you guys touched base on Simmons. I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to actually talk about two different guys. And I'm going to throw one. Keelan Russell, SEC freshman quarterback, comes in, just dominates, has a great year. Keelan ended up with, I remember at like, let me pull this back. 32 touchdowns, 13 picks for almost 3,500 yards. As a true freshman in the SEC. Definitely a great supporting cast and skill guys around him. But in Alabama, he's built a kind of a monster at quarterback for the future. And then the second guy I think is I'm going to jump down and I'm going to go with Sawyer Robertson out of Baylor. Baylor hasn't been a one-dimensional team. They've been having success on the ground, but Sawyer's come in with 72%, almost 3,500 yards. Pretty efficient, just fell short of the 30 touchdown mark, but only 5 picks. And that speaks to Baylor's success. I think Sawyer's been the leader in the huddle for him and offensively as a senior redshirt quarterback. I think this is why Baylor's had success, but also, like I said, they haven't been one-dimensional. They've had success on the running game as well. So maybe some of the numbers aren't as inflated as some of these other teams that have kind of aired it out a little bit more. And I think that's looking at numbers. He only had 305 attempts, whereas like you look at Maeva, 439. You look at Keelan had 300, which again, that's pretty impressive. And Hayes King, 381. Raiola just almost one shot of 400. Nussmeyer's right around 300. Marcel Reed, 383. So again, these guys have had a few more attempts. But I think Sawyer's been and doesn't have as good of a supporting cast. Like they've got a good running back, but the receivers like Ole Miss has got a couple of dogs in the receiving room. Texas is loaded. LSU, Georgia, Bama. Some of these teams are loaded in the receiving game, whereas Baylor's not quite as loaded, but he's beneficial.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's jump over to the top running backs in the league. And Silent, we're going to pass this one over to you to talk about the top 5 leaders. Go ahead and take it away, brother.
Well, with the yards, we're going to go down to Bama. Ryan Williams, 1,628 yards. Oh, shit, receiving. I'm in the wrong category. Hold on, I wrote down the wrong shit. Shit, my bad. No. Okay, ASU, Kane Uda. 202 carries with 1,068 yards, 8 tutties, and 23 broken tackles. That's a season right there. Then you scroll down to Kansas State with Dylan Edwards, 882 yards. LSU with
K Dunham.
Yeah, good thing you said it because I couldn't fucking pronounce that for no reason. 859 yards off the 141 carries. Then we go down to Houston with Dean Connors with 837 yards, 162 carries. And then finally at number 5 is Notre Dame, Jeremiah Love, 172 carries for 827 yards. And then if we go to touchdowns, we got LSU with 20. Keep going. I don't know why I keep thinking we have an Iowa State guy when we don't. And then we got, who is it? Baylor next.
Do we have an Oregon user?
Oregon dropped out. Well, he must switch teams.
That's right. So then, yeah, Bryson Washington, that's kind of plays hand in hand with what I was just talking about with Sawyer. He's the number 2 using running back right now.
I'm missing Georgia with 12 touchdowns. Notre Dame with another 12. And then the Aggies coming up with 11.
You also got Nicholas Singleton, Le'Veon Moss from Texas A&M, LJ Martin from BYU, Virginia Tech has 11. There's a handful of guys out there.
Oh, there's definitely a lot of guys with 11, period. I mean, fuck. Then we go to broken tackles. We've got BYU, 41 broken tackles. I mean, that dude's on a roll, breaking tackles left and right.
Yeah, that's insane.
LJ Martin is a bruising back, and he definitely has established BYU's, style of play.
Next on a broken tackle list, we got, if I'm reading this right, it looks like it's Singleton from Penn State, 34 broken tackles.
Well, he had 17 of them on the one play when it against me. So.
Sorry, I had to slip on that butter that game.
But yeah, would not surprised to see him how good of a back Singleton is and how he plays. So,
do we have a West Virginia user?
No, we don't.
I think it's Arizona with Smile Mahdi at 30 would be the next guy. And then TCU, Kevion Barnes, and then Bryson Washington and Baylor, both at 28.
I keep looking at Oregon like we still have them. So who wants to take care of receiving?
Real quick before we jump in there, Hollow, who do you feel like is the most impactful user running back that we've had this season?
You asked me Hollow as a viewer, right?
Oh, silent, my bad.
That's why we're all waiting. Biggest impact on a running back game. Honestly, I want to go with. Where'd he go? I do want to say Kane Uda with 202 carries, where he's being the only one with over 1,000 yards. But Jeremiah Love was looking great throughout the season with 827 yards for 172 carries. The biggest impact, honestly, would be BYU with those broken tackles. I mean, 41 broken tackles is insane alone. So LJ Martin is definitely my impact guy, I think. If he just had a little more running room to go, I think he would have been up there in the over 1,000 yards.
How about you, J-Rock? How do you feel about the running backs?
Gotcha. So for me, I'm going to say it's Caden Durham. Biggest impact as far as running back goes. At 20 touchdowns, kind of like killed every team that he played, which was huge. He had over 800. He had 859 yards. His average was like 6.1. Yeah, he didn't have all the great broken tackles or a whole bunch of the 20-plus yard runs, but the 20 touchdowns on the season, I call that a huge impact. Big Hurt, who is your biggest impact user as far as running back goes?
I'm going to go with Connor Udo, Arizona State running back. With 202 carries, 1,068 yards. Again, only 8 touchdowns. With the broken tackles at 23, he still finished with over 400 yards after contact. So, I mean, this guy was a big play back. Whether you were tackling this guy, putting hands on this guy, whatever, he was breaking tackles and getting big plays. Not the fastest guy, but as an elusive bruiser type of back, I think that is someone. Then I think the other guy that I'd have to go to would either be the Baylor running back or the Georgia running back. Both those guys are sophomores, and they kind of helped establish both of those teams' identities, and I think both of those guys are guys that those users can build and take into next season as guys that have had really good success, but also being able to be mentioned here in the top statistically, and they're only sophomores, so they as long as they don't hit the portal, both those users are going to have guys in the next year.
All right. Yeah, big impact guys.
I'm surprised he didn't say Drew Aller, honestly, after getting ran over how many times.
All right.
Not Drew Aller, Singleton.
Wasn't even Aller running the air, was running the option. That's what I was worried about.
That option.
Receiving, Ryan Williams here at the top from Bama with 1,628 yards. This is again sorted by yards. Ole Miss, Caden Lee with 1,139. Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State, 1,120. Brings in at number 3.
Oh, you forgot Delp. He may be a tight end.
Well, let's go receiver and then tight end. I mean, he kind of stands in the line by himself. So we got Caden at 3 and Jeremiah Smith. Caden at 2, Jeremiah Smith at 3. And then another Ole Miss guy, Dejon Stribling, at number 4 with another 1,000-yard receiver for the Running Rebels. And then at number 5 is going to be the TCU Jordan Dwyer with 1,000 yards and 1,031 yards and 10 touchdowns. Some guys that are honorable mention: Jermichael Sturdivant from University of Florida with just over 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns. Eric Rivers for Georgia Tech with just over 1,000 yards by 7 with 13 touchdowns. That wraps out your 1,000-yard club. But yeah, let's go back up. Oscar Delp, the senior tight end for the Georgia Bulldogs, 17 touchdowns and 1,300 yards, comes in at number 2 in the receiving totals here. Pretty impressive. Those are for yards. We covered the 1,000-yard receiving receptions, guys. Then we're going to go over to the tight ends. So Delp is the leader in the NCAA with 17 touchdowns. Ryan Williams at 2. We have Luke Haas, another tight end, with 14, another Ole Miss Running Rebel. And then we have Jack Endries, another tight end for the Texas Longhorns at 14. And then Dejon Stribling for Ole Miss at 13. Eric Rivers at 13 for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And then Jermichael Sturdivant for Florida at 12. Noah Thomas, a receiver for Georgia at 12. And Caden Lee for the Ole Miss Running Rebels at 12. Let's go to the rack. And just looking at receiving after the rack yards, you got LJ Martin, a running back for BYU with 787 yards. 579. Luke Haas with 556. Oscar Delp with 551. Travis Green with 523. And Jamal Haynes, another Georgia Tech Yellow Jack with 494. All of these top guys in rack are all users. And as you can see, 3 tight ends, 2 running backs, only 1 receiver there for rack yards. And that's pretty impressive in my as well as the tight ends. And you're going to see a lot of the tight ends sitting there at the top. I'm going to try this with J-Rock first. J-Rock, who do you feel like was the biggest impact or played the biggest role for guys in the receiving game for their team this season?
Well, for me, I'm going to kind of throw this over to a tight end and Georgia's tight end, Delp. To have 77 catches, 1,300 yards, and come out with 17 touchdowns, I felt like that kind of helped him lead the way, get over some humps. And I'm just honestly looking forward to see what else he's going to do and kind of go from there.
Poison, how about you, man? What do you got for a receiver? What's the guy that that you feel like has some of the biggest impact for their early this season?
I want to go with Bama, Ryan Williams. I mean, 1,628 yards. Yeah, I mean, he's the big key guy for that team. 16 touchdowns, 85 yards is the longest. Only 6 drops throughout the season, around 594 snaps and 78 receptions. So he was looked at 84 times and only dropped 6 times. Big key player for Alabama, I'm assuming.
I think those are both obviously good options that we can look at here. Dope is very impressive at the center aspect of things. He's a senior, 6'5", big target, great year for the Georgia Bulldogs there in Hollow.
I would be afraid to see what Ryan Williams can do, knowing that he's only a sophomore. So all he can do is go up.
Absolutely. I'm gonna take my pick over to the Ole Miss running or the Rebels here. You got Caden Lee, you got Stribling, you got the tight end. I mean, these guys like all have 50 catches plus. Plus, you're looking at 12, 13 touchdowns with over 1,000 yards. And it's like, how do you match up and how do you stop that? Like, but I think the thing that stands out to me is the senior that leads the group, Deshaun Stribling, as a senior 6'2" receiver, 1,100 yards, 13 touchdowns, 20.4 yards per average per reception, getting about 92 yards a game, only 1 drop a season. That is someone that you can rely on, and he's putting up these kind of numbers, plus with Caden Lee, the tight end. No wonder why Simmons is putting up these kind of numbers. When you can air it out like that, that's impressive. So I got to give it to the Ole Miss Rebels there in the season that he had in their game. But struggling with only 1 drop, that's very impressive. Just kind of as excuse me, other stats that kind of excuse me, other stats that stand out here that I just wanted to touch base on. We didn't really have much of the defensive stats that I thought we were going to have in like sacks, picks, and stuff. But I did notice the TCU Bud Clark free safety had 6 picks, which is pretty impressive. We also had, I want to say it was, somebody had like close, but USC, Abraham Jackson, free safety, had 7.5 sacks. So bringing the blitz, whether it's in the slot or something, this guy coming off the edge, 3rd level for USC is impressive. And I don't know that all these stats sometimes defensively get a little skewed in the game because it doesn't translate and doesn't always show the top leaders for some reason. What do you expect from an EA game sometimes? But that's that. And then kicking wise, I thought we would have some more crazier kicking stats, but BYU coming in with their senior kicker kicking a 56 for the long field goal was pretty impressive. That's a pretty deep field goal, as well as Texas Tech. Belafont, the junior kicker for the Red Raiders, he also hit a 56-yarder. And so you got a guy that can change the game with his leg and hit those type of field goals. Aiden Burr for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets at 53. That's you get in the range and you can tie a game up, take a lead, or put some pressure on a team. That's huge. And so some long field goals there. And then with that being said, I don't think we had Ohio State had 2 punt returns. Ennis, the receiver for Ohio State, and Anthony Agnew from Penn State, Florida's Abrams, Baylor's Cameron. Georgia had Zachariah Branch, the punt return, and Jared Hamilton from Arizona State. When you can change the game in the third aspect of the game from special teams, that's big. Georgia had 2 kick returns with White. Florida State, Gavin Blackwell, had also had 2. Then Micah Hudson from Texas Tech with 2 kick returns. We had some other guys that had 1. I'm not going to go into deep there. But again, I think special teams is a big game changer, especially in some of these games that can just flip the momentum. So that was something I wanted to cover there. But as far as that goes, we're going to split. The next topic is in the team stats. I'm going to give the mic over to Silent. Or JF, who's in leading this.
Silent, you're up for the
Jay, I'll take care of. I'm taking care of something about my family real quick.
Oh, gotcha. All right, so let's jump over to the team stats. We're going to talk about the team with the most yards per game, which is where it already kind of starts off. We're going to call it the top 5. Texas being number 1 with 419.3 yards per game. Then we had Texas A&M at 408.8, coming in second place. In third place, we had Georgia coming up with 405.1 yards per game. In fourth place, we're looking at the Ole Miss Rebels with 402.9 yards per game. And then we got Bama coming in fifth, just over the 401.4. A couple of honorable mentions that finish right under that gap is OU at 398.8 and LSU with 398.7. As far as our passing leaders go, we'll scroll over to there and we'll pull up who had the most passing yards, which is obviously going to be Ole Miss, sitting at 41.68 on the year with an average of 347. Texas has followed them at 4,036 yards, averaging 336.3 per game. We got Georgia sitting over 4,000. That's averaging 335.6 in third place. And fourth place, we got Nebraska leading the way with 36.72 and an average of 306 yards. And then Texas A&M coming in fifth place with 3,652 and averaging 304 yards per game. As far as passing touchdowns go, we've got Texas leading the way with 49, Ole Miss with 46, Georgia with 42, LSU on the board with 37, and in fifth place, Texas A&M with 35. As far as our rushing leaders go, we didn't have a lot of guys up here, but OU came out as the number 1 user with 1820. Kansas State was in second place with 1,807 rushing yards. Behind them was University of Houston at 1,575. After Houston, we came up with Virginia Tech, who's sitting there at 1,476. And then in fifth place is LSU with 1,417. As far as rushing touchdowns go on the season, it did look like OU, Oklahoma Sooners, came away with 30 touchdowns on the season. We had LSU Tigers come out with 27. After that, we had Texas A&M coming out with 25, followed by Virginia Tech, who's also tied at 25. And then for fifth place, we had Alabama coming in hot at 23. Now, we're going to jump over to the actually, I'm going to pose a few questions here real quick. Big Hurt, who had the most impactful offense to you this season? As far as rushing the ball, passing touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, who did you feel like made the biggest impact on the league?
I think Ole Miss, obviously, it's hard to turn and not pick them just because of the passing numbers. Being in the SEC with the competition there to have over 4,000 yards with 46 touchdowns. Obviously, Texas is also in that category. Texas has a little bit stronger supporting cast than what Ole Miss has, so I kind of expect Texas to be at the top. But to see Ole Miss on top is very impressive. But I would also then turn and say, offensively, it's not just passing the ball; it's also running the ball. And I did not realize from an offensive standpoint that Oklahoma actually led all users rushing the ball. That wasn't from just a running back standpoint, but they do have John Mateer, quarterback, who's pretty impressive. I would expect a team like Kansas State to be up there, or like Virginia Tech with Kyron Jones. LSU, Caden Durham had a pretty good year. But guys like Houston and Oklahoma definitely kind of opened some eyes for me because I didn't think that they would be at the top three in that aspect. So that's impressive as well.
Gotcha. Silent, you back yet?
Yeah, I'm back.
All right, brother. Same question to you. Who do you feel like had the most impactful offense this season? Everything from passing and rushing.
I would love to say Texas A&M because, I mean, with over 3,000 passing yards and over 1,000 rushing yards total put together, I mean, but Georgia, even though they didn't hit the 1,000 rushing yard mark, they're number one for a reason. They had to do an impact. 4,000 passing yards, 468 points, total points scored. I mean, it's a hell of a season, honestly. Especially when you're almost at 5,000 total offensive yards. I mean, Texas was right there behind them. I mean, couple downfalls that knocked Texas down to being 11-1. I thought Texas and Georgia would have been 1-2, but we had that one game where it was an upset.
Gotcha. And then me, I'm going to throw Texas straight up into that hat. For me, they had the biggest impact offensively. I mean, they did have over 5,031 yards on the season. He was also the highest scorer points per game on the season with 44.6. And I mean, the guy also led the league as far as passing touchdowns go with 49. And that wasn't just with Arch Manning. He had to use his backups when he got hurt in one of his games. Matter of fact, that matchup against Georgia, which was a 3-point game, he was playing without Arch Manning for that game. And plus, he was on the road. So to me, that's just impressive. Coming up with 49 passing touchdowns. And then on top of it, he had 18 rushing touchdowns. So for me, Texas is who kind of takes the mount for me as far as most impactful rushing team. All right, Silent, we're going to let you lead it on defense, and we'll jump over to the defensive side of the ball. And we're just going to start off talking about that.
I mean, where do I begin? Yards per game allowed. Let's see what the number one team is. Oh, look at that. It's Penn State. Let's go, baby. All day. And we got Ole Miss right behind, trailing right behind. I mean, just by 40 yards, 40 total yards given up. And then Clemson right there. Well, yards per game average, I'm sorry, not 40 total yards. Clemson's right after them at 205, LSU at 212, and then, them Cornhuskers that took that downfall in week 13, 230.3. Great defensive games between a lot of these teams. There was definitely a lot of this last, week 5 through 8, a lot of defense was thrown out there. If we go to points allowed, oh, look at that. Penn State, number one again. Oh, I got to quit tooting my own horn here. 116 points allowed. Clemson with 147. Alabama with 150. Wisconsin with 167. And then there's our dear commissioner at 172 at number 5. Go over to passing. Oh, do I dare say it? 1,469 yards for Penn State. I'm sorry. I should stop while I'm ahead because, do that first bowl game might kick my ass. Then Ole Miss is 1,611. Then we go down to LSU at 2,034. Clemson, 2,101. Colorado, 2,175. And we know where a lot of those yards stopped at. We go to rushing allowed. Let's see. Nebraska. Big team right there. They were not letting anybody pass that line with the running backs. Even the quarterbacks, I found out week 13. Don't rush against him. He hurts you. Georgia, 287. Ohio State, 362. Clemson at 368. And then there's Penn State at 440. I mean, great rushing and pass yards allowed. I mean, these great numbers for the defense he's putting up to stopping the teams, making everything come down to their end. Sack leaders is Georgia with 55, Ohio State with another 55, Penn State with 51. Then we go to USC at 46, LSU at 45. I mean, they were definitely pressuring the quarterback pretty hard. Then let's see here. Is there interception leaders? Texas at 31, Wisconsin at 28, Colorado at 21, LSU 19, and Florida Gators at 19. Those corners and safeties were out there balling out, taking that ball out of the air. And then we go to the fumble leaders. We got, let's see here. Oh, well, Notre Dame is number 1 on the fumbles at 9. And we go down to Colorado at 7. Ohio State at 6. Texas at 6. And Florida at 6. For me, I think the biggest team on – I'm not even going to pick me because honestly, that'd just be being biased. But for the biggest team to have the best defense other than me would honestly be Ole Miss. I mean, only allowing 770 – well, I'm sorry, no, it wouldn't even be Ole Miss. It'd be Clemson, allowing only 2,100 passing yards and 368 yards. But if I did have to come up with a runner-up just for rushing defense, would be Nebraska. What about you, J-Rock? What do you think? Who had the biggest impact, you believe?
So I'm not biased when I say this, because it's not my team. So I'm going to go with Penn State, just allowing under 10 points per game all season. That's just impressive to have the least amount of yardage given up passing wise, and then to come in 5th place with those rushing yards. And then also to top it off, you had 51 sacks to go along with 12 interceptions. That's one of the most impactful teams for me. But I am going to throw a shout out to Texas in there and Wisconsin Badgers, both of them, just because both of these guys were close on interceptions all season. To give up, for Texas to have 31 picks, I mean, that's a lot of turnovers. That's a lot of opportunities created to be able to put the ball in the end zone. And then same thing for Wisconsin, playing in a tough Big Ten conference, to be able to come away with 28 interceptions on the season. To me, that just screams opportunities for your offense. And both of these guys made impactful stops to be able to turn that around. All right, man. Big Hurt, what about you, brother? Who do you feel like the biggest impact on defense was this season?
Unfortunately, as much as I do not want to say this, I think Penn State's just put up a hell of a year defensively with 9.7 points per game. That just puts so much stress on any offense, knowing that you got to score, because this team is not even giving up a touchdown and a field goal per game. And so, who's going to win a game with a 10-point score? I mean, some of these others sitting at 12 and 13, 14 is impressive, but to be under 10 in the single digits is just insane. The pass defense, I mean, I felt that I could say on the road, missing one of my top receivers. The pass rush was just everything's all long. The corners played like lockdown tight defense. You could get a pass off. They were right there to make the tackle, not give up anything in the backyards. So that was that. Running the ball, it was tough. The lanes were seemed like they were there, and then they just closed up so fast. And again, with 51 sacks, coming in basically 3rd in the league. That you had no time, and the defensive tackle from Penn State It was like the pressure was being off the edge. She could slide left or right or escape or whatever. It was like coming right down to her throat because it was from the defensive tackle. So except that defensive tackle got to you, you tried to roll out, and you had strands that were pretty quick and trying to contain the edge pretty well as well. So um, yeah, I would say Penn State. I'm also very impressed with Texas being such a high offensive team. But I have to say, as much as I want to give it to a second team, I think what's impressive is Texas Tech. I mean, I'm not trying to like a 2 year horn here, but like I think Texas Tech is more known for their offense. They make a great defensive team, but just being in the Big 12, it's kind of a wide open conference, offensive conference. Not a lot of great defensive teams over there, and Texas Tech is coming in with the top 5 points per game allowed, and you put a solid 6 in the other. So I have to say it's pretty impressive. Like they're like Wisconsin, Bama, Clemson, Penn State, like those are teams that LSU, I would expect to be there, but just teams that like Baylor and Texas Tech and Ole Miss for how many yards they give up or how many yards they scored, big plays and everything, like still have a good defense. Most of the time you see a team really good offense, but their defense kind of lacks because they're out there so much, or they have a good defense, but it's like their offense scores so quick that their defense has to be out there more than and more opportunities for another team to have success. So just impressed with some of these, and it's a fun thing to look at. It's the stats and how they break down and how each user was with the parity of the league and everything. Lots of good opportunities to talk.
All right, awesome. Let's jump over to our conversions now, and let's talk about the most efficient teams on third down, fourth down, and who's the best 2-point percentage team. Silent, do you still want to lead the way on this one?
I'll let you take the lead on this one.
All right, so big thing out here, most efficient team in the season when it came down to third down percentage. We're looking at Penn State being at 66%. Texas Tech following them closely at 58%. Georgia Tech coming in at 57%. OU coming in at 56%. And then the Florida Gators coming in at 55%. As far as fourth down conversions go, our leader in the league was Florida at 87%. Nebraska with 86%. Texas Tech at 75%. Clemson coming in at 73%, and Notre Dame coming in at 72%. As far as 2-point conversions go, our most accurate team was Notre Dame, followed by Virginia Tech, followed by Texas, followed by SMU, and at number 5, Tennessee. And that's pretty much explanatory of itself. Now we're going to jump over to red zone efficiency. To the teams that had the best red zone impact. We're going to start with Georgia Tech coming in at 72%. Ole Miss in second place for all users was 71%. After that, we're looking at Michigan coming in at 63%, followed by number 4, Bama at 63%. And then for fifth place, we got a tie between BYU and Oklahoma, both coming in at 62%. As far as our best red zone defensive teams, we're going to go over to Bama to start that off, coming in with a 23% touchdown rate on defense in the red zone, followed by Texas A&M at 30%, followed by Florida at 32%, followed by Ole Miss at 35%, followed by Nebraska in fifth place at 37%. Now we're going to jump over to our penalties, and our least penalized teams in the league is going to be number 1, Texas A&M, who only had 4 penalties on the season. Our this is by penalty yards per game, who only had 1.8 penalty yards per game. Clemson sitting in second place at 2.1. Texas Tech sitting in at third place with 2.9, followed by Baylor at 5.6 and LSU at 5.8. Then we're going to jump over to turnovers real quick, and we're going to talk about who had the biggest difference. And it's Texas, the Longhorns, with a 26 difference, followed by Wisconsin with a 17 difference in turnovers, followed by TCU with a 13 difference. Then Baylor in fourth place with 11. And then for our fifth place is Virginia Tech coming in with an 8 turnover difference. And also Georgia Tech is tied with them at 8 as well. And then that's going to wrap it up for our stats as far as who the league leaders were. We're not going to jump into too much details on those other parts because those are pretty much self-explanatory of who is doing work. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to our conference championship games, and we're going to talk about the upcoming games that we've got coming up. So if we go into our schedules and look at scores and schedules, and let's sort that past week 15 to our conference championship games. So for the ACC championship coming up, we're going to have Virginia Tech versus Clemson. For the Big 12 championship, we got Texas Tech versus Baylor. For the Big 10 championship, we got Wisconsin and Penn State. And then for the SEC championship, we've got Georgia and Alabama. So, Hurt, I'm going to start, or actually, Silent, I'm going to start with you, brother. So what I want to hear is I kind of want to hear your predictions on as far as who's going to win the conference championship. And let's go ahead and start with the ACC for you.
ACC, shit. I want to see an upset, to be honest with you. I want to see Virginia Tech get over Clemson. That's what I want to see. I mean, Clemson has put up a great game throughout the season. They're 11-1, 8-0 in the conference. Virginia Tech's 10-2 and 8-0 in the conference. So, I mean, 2 great teams already going into it. The only difference is 1 loss. So I'm going to go with Virginia Tech on that.
All right, Big Hurt, let's jump over to you for the ACC. Who do you feel like is going to walk away with that championship?
Clemson. They better win. Because I need every bit of Virginia Tech and Wisconsin to be losing so I can get into this college football playoff. So go Tigers.
All right. And then for me, this is a toss-up. I've seen both these guys play some great games, but I feel like I'm going to go with Clemson on this one. I feel like he's played a little bit more user games than what Virginia Tech has. And I'm kind of interested to see if that's going to actually play a role into it. I mean, we could see an upset, which, I mean, everyone loves upsets in college football, but I'm picking Clemson on this one just because he's going to have more user experience. Now let's jump over to the Big 12. Big Hurt, I'm going to have you lead us on the Big 12.
Yeah, so we got Texas Tech versus Baylor, 7 versus 8 matchup here. Going to be played down in Arlington, home of the Dallas Cowboys. And Texas Tech at 7, and then again with the dual threat offense running Baylor and 8. It's an interesting matchup. I think both teams, as long as it's not an absolute blowout, and I still think if that happens, I think both teams still stay in the playoffs. But I think for me, I'll just go ahead and give my first pick, and then I'll turn it over to Poison, and then end up with J Rock last. I'm going to go with Texas Tech just because of their defense. I think Texas Tech, and I'm a firm believer defense wins championships, offense wins games. But defense wins championship. It's championship week, so I'm going to stick with my defense and my motto. And Texas Tech pulls out a slugfest, and I think it's going to be a great game. I think Texas Tech gets a close win over the Baylor Bears in the Big 12 championship. Mr. Poison, what is your pick on the Big 12 championship?
Between Texas Tech and Baylor, watching both teams throughout that, doing all the highlight reels and everything, they both had great plays to put throughout the entire season. To be honest with you, that's a toss up. Honestly, it's a real big toss up on that one. But I will lean towards Texas Tech. Honestly, he's had more impact plays on the returns. He's had some good running game, and Baylor's defense was good, but Texas Tech, I seen him, especially. I think he's had about 6 games that were potential highlights. I think he's made 2 of them. I think Baylor, I had 2 also, but yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards Texas Tech more.
I think I forgot to also mention that. I mean, highlight's a good thing to bring. I think the big thing for me is the efficiency of Morton, the quarterback play from Texas Tech. Like, it's a little bit higher. Number-wise, between Sawyer Robinson and Morton hasn't been much of a difference. I think Sawyer's had a good year, Brandon's had a good year. But just the efficiency of how well, period, percentage solution, that Morton's had. Texas Tech to not turn the ball over, play the game that they want to play, control the clock, control the game, let their defense do their thing. I think that's what gets this one.
Hey, Big Hurt, your voice is cracking. Hollow said,
give me 1 second. Just pause.
sorry guys, he is on out of town Wi-Fi at a hotel. He's doing some training right now, so it's not the greatest Wi-Fi. Once he gets back home and we do these shows when he's back home, it's going to come in. The sound's going to come in a lot better.
Can you guys hear me now?
I can, but you're still cracking.
You're still a little bit distorted, yeah.
It's not coming through.
It's coming through. You're just distorted.
Couldn't tell you what. You guys go ahead and finish this up. I'll be able to play the video.
All right, so for me, Big 12 championship, man, I'm taking Baylor on this one. I know that I'm playing him and I should be picking myself, but man, I've played this guy over the years through Madden, and I'm like 1 in 10 against this user in league play. And I haven't played him yet in college football, and I know college football is a much different game. But I'm taking him just because of his past record against me. I'm not 100% sure how this is going to translate in college football, but as far as him playing between last season and this season, he's playing at a complete turnaround, 100% better than what he did last season. And like his game earlier in the season that he actually took a force loss on because he was in Vegas. It was a user game, and that's why he got a force loss. And I feel like that game could have gone either way. That user was SMU Poppy. Either way, I don't know how that game would have turned out, but I mean, there's a possibility that he could be undefeated and have an automatic bid right now and to be in the second round of the CFP playoffs. So I feel like I feel like it's going to be Baylor for me. I feel like I'm going to come into this as the underdog in this situation. He is 8-0 in conference play, which means he beat everybody in the Big 12 division that he played. Me, I got 1 loss. I lost to Utah earlier in the season. So that's, to me, I'm going to take Baylor for that. Let's jump over to the Big Ten Championship. This one's honestly going to be quick. I'm going to let everybody know right now that Wisconsin's out of the country right now. He's not back till the 19th. Penn State is going to get the force win on this game because we actually advance on Thursday the 18th. And then after that, we're going to be going into bowl week. So we're not going to mention a whole lot about the Big Ten championship. Yeah, I would love it if he was back in town to play, but it's going to be Penn State for that one. Let's jump down to the SEC championship. So for me, we get a rematch of a force win from earlier in the season. Bama did get a force against Georgia. They're coming in at the number 1 and number 2 team, so we're actually going to get to see this game get played. Silent, let's start with you, brother. Who do you have as pick for the SEC championship?
Hands down, Georgia. He spanked the shit out of me. I did not get to play Alabama, but Georgia spanked me earlier in the season. It's the only loss I took. I think it was week 2. 31-17 was the final, I believe. And seeing how he played, I feel it's going to be Georgia all day.
Gotcha. All right, Big Hurt, let's just do a sound check for you real quick, brother. Let's see if you still sound distorted. Who's your SEC champion?
We're going to go with the Georgia Bulldogs.
Oh, yeah, you're still underwater, brother. Hey,
Come on for some air, bud.
Yeah, if you want, do me a favor, text me who you feel like is going to win and why. And then what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and give my picks right now. This way you got time to get that in chat. I'll be on my chat ready to kind of go over your point on that. So for me, Georgia and Alabama, I had Bama picked earlier in the season. Or no, actually, Big Hurt had Bama picked earlier in the season as a team that could potentially go all the way. I ended up changing my mind, and I threw my hat in that basket. But with this being a big matchup and these two users having never played each other, I'm going to kind of go with Georgia on this one. He's had a great season. He beat a tough Texas team who was looking like they were about to go undefeated all the way through the SEC. And that's just who I'm going to pick. I think Bama's going to give him a great game. He had one game earlier in the season against LSU where he was struggling a lot. He was on the road, so he had the same thing that Big Hurt's got going on. He had that choppy Wi-Fi, so I can understand how that was a tough game for him. But as far as picks go, I think I'm going to take Georgia in this matchup. He's been there defensively all season. He's got a lot of sacks. He's got a lot of interceptions. He's got a lot of players as far as in the award section go. For the awards watch list, I think in one of the defensive categories, he's got like 5 players in the top 10 just on his defense. So yeah, I think he may win this game, but that's not going to put Bama out of the playoffs. Even if Georgia wins this game, Bama's still going to be right there in the playoffs. All right, Big Hurt, did you ever get your picks over to me?
I do believe that my mic is fixed. Tell me it is.
Oh, yeah, you're clear. Go ahead, brother.
All right. Well, I'm going to play a little clip, and that's going to tell you who I'm picking in the SEC championship game. Give me 1 second.
All right.
Y'all will appreciate this.
I'm scared to see this clip.
I'm ready for it.
Because I didn't want to pick against either one of the guys. So it's college game day. Yeah. So and basically what we're doing here is making our picks. So if you remember, back in the day, man by the man that played McAfee, one of my favorites. Here it is. And awesome Wi-Fi, by the way.
Oh, we can tell.
That's definitely one reason why I sent you to top 10 early.
All day. Georgia, sick 'em. Bulldogs win.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. Big Herd's got Georgia. And it looks like that's unanimous. So, Bama, I hope this puts a chip on your shoulder. I hope you come out. Hope you play really good. Prove us wrong, brother. Prove us wrong.
Unfortunately, Bro Jules was the guy that I had picked earlier this season. But with Georgia's play, Hall of Maniac, Oscar Dope, that's the X factor. And I think Nate Frazier, the running back, the way that team plays, I can't go against the Dogs in this game.
Gotcha. All right, boys, we're going to jump over to the last topic that we got for this, and we're going to talk about the CFP bracket. So I feel like in our CFP top 25, or not the CFP, but in our conference championships, I feel like there's a couple of teams that if they win, they go on to the playoffs. If they lose, they might be out. Virginia Tech, unfortunately, brother, with you being ranked 11, you got a good possibility of this being a win or go home for the playoffs, which is, that's going to be a tough game. And then Wisconsin as well is in that. I feel like they might be in that same boat. I feel like Wisconsin's in a win or go home type scenario.
Get them out of here. Get them out of here. We need that number 12 team sitting right now at number 12 is the Nebraska corner. We need them back in the playoff. Let's go.
You just want that rubber match, bro.
Hey, I got a couple of rubber matches I need. I need one with the number 7 seeded projected team right now, and I also need one with the number 2 seeded. What would be ideal is if this bracket did not change at all. Give me that number 10 seed. Give me my rematch with Texas Tech. I win, and then go give me my rematch with Penn State. Give me that win there, and then let's see what happens from there on out. That's ideal. That's what we're hoping for. I'm praying for it. Man, Virginia Tech, Wisconsin, do your job. Let me in. That's all I got to say.
Gotcha.
I'm not going to lie. I'd love to actually see that happen and have Hurt come up and face me again.
Gotcha. And then also, don't forget about University of Florida, the Gators. They are right there in that race. Ole Miss is right there in that race as well. Depending on how all this goes down, I'm not sure how it's going to shake up and how the orders are determined. But, we could see some of these teams come up in the playoffs. If 2 teams drop out, we get a chance to see maybe 2 teams come in. And that would be Nebraska. That would be University of Florida. And then we got Ole Miss on the bubble. So looking at these standings right now, like with my picks currently, I got me picked to lose, which that may drop me to that 8th spot. I'm not 100% sure. I think Texas is going to stay ahead of me. Duke's staying right where they're at because they're not in the conference championship game, but they may go up to 9. So I could potentially be looking at Duke as far as how these games turn out. And then also at the same time, depending on where Baylor goes, if they beat me, they could potentially get a CFP first round bye with only having 1 loss. And I know that there's a big game between Alabama and Georgia. One of them is going to have 2 losses, which may move them up there. So it's going to be interesting to see how all this kind of sorts out. Hurt, we know what you want. Silent, why don't you give us your take on this real quick?
I would love to see some upsets and get those guys on there and come up. I honestly want to see the computer teams knocked out, but we already know Duke's not leaving. But the Georgia and Alabama game, yeah, that's there's going to be an upset there and somebody's getting knocked down. Then Baylor, yeah, I think they're going to move up. They're probably going to get that bye week from that. And you think you're going to lose? Yeah,
I don't think per se. I'm still confident, but like I said, this is a user who's given me fits every time we play football together. So he even said in the chat, "Stop! Don't put any expectations on me, please." But man, this is going to be a tough game for me. It's going to come down to this dude's either going to whoop me by 35 or it's going to come down to the last possession. So I'm not 100% sure how that's going to play out. If I win, then I may have the first round bye up there in place of either Bama or Georgia, which I'm 100% okay with that, not having to play anyone in the first round. So we'll see how it goes. And there he goes.
Not so fast here. I already quoted Pat McAfee on my Georgia pick for the SEC title game. Now I'm going to quote the man, the legend, Lee Corso. You're going to get beat by 35. Your defense doesn't even give up 35 points. This game is not going to be a high-scoring game. Could be, but if I had a bet, man, I'm picking this is going to be maybe like a 28-20 game, something like that. I do think whoever wins between you and Baylor moves up to probably that 5 range. Texas will move into probably the top 4. I think whoever loses, if Georgia loses, they fall to probably 5. If Bama loses, Bama falls down to probably the 7th spot. I think Virginia Tech gets Clemson. Clemson falls out of the top 4. You're going to see some things happen if the Big 12 and maybe Texas jump into the top 4. There's a lot of things that can happen. Wisconsin with the first loss, unfortunately, I think they fall out. If Virginia Tech loses to Clemson, they fall out. That opens up the door for 2 teams. But there could be a lot of movement. Again, Bama, Georgia, whoever wins, they're in the top 4 guaranteed. Penn State's a lock. Clemson wins, that's a lock. That opens up the door for 1 team. I think Texas is the team with the 1 loss. And then again, I think Texas Tech or Baylor would move up to that 5 spot. But if Clemson were to lose to Virginia Tech in the ACC championship game, and then whoever loses in the SEC championship, you could have 2 teams then move into that bye round in the quarterfinal, which could shake up things from 5 down to 12. But again, if that happens, then there's only really 1 team that's coming into play, because that's Virginia Tech beating Clemson. Clemson's going to stay in the CFP bracket. Virginia Tech's just going to solidify their spot for the college football playoff. And then again, with Wisconsin getting that first loss, unfortunately, with him out of town, that is going to be the 1 team that falls out. I could see Duke moving up 1 spot ahead of Wisconsin. But if Virginia Tech upsets Clemson, you could see Wisconsin fall out. Duke stays. Whoever falls between Baylor and Texas Tech could fall to maybe like 11, where Virginia Tech is. And then I could see Duke moving up to like 8, and then maybe even Nebraska or Florida moving into that 9-10 spot.
Did you cut out, brother?
No, I just stopped talking.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
I thought he cut out. I saw his mouth still moving on the stream.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, wait a minute. All right, guys. Well, you heard it here first. That's our thoughts and take on the 2025 college football playoffs. A lot of different scenarios. A lot of different things can happen. What we're going to do now is we're going to turn it over to Big Hurt to close us out. And then we're going to go into what we've all been really waiting for. The HFA, week 5 through 8, top 10 plays. Silent, real quick, how many games did you have to choose from in week 5 through 8?
Oh, God. Week 8 alone, there was 3 of them that had stream confirmed. Week 7, there was 6 of them. Week 6, I think it was 4. And week 5, there was another 4. I had a total of 32 clips to go through that I thought that was top 10 potential. And I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of time put into this and a lot of thought. Don't knock me if you guys think a play shouldn't be there, because there's a lot to try to remember and what to look at. But everybody so far has been doing a great job. Great plays been put out there. Damn near everybody's had a clip that damn near hit the top 10.
Gotcha. And then, guys, also remember, too, like, we have to go through these games and watch everything in order. Well, Silent goes through all these games, and he watches every one of the user games to kind of see who those top 10s are. Remember, guys, you can always make this easier on him in the top 10 tabs inside the league. Start posting your top 10. Maybe we don't have to dig as much through your game. This is just as much a partnership for us as it is of you. So the more that you guys post in there to give us your top 10s, hey, we're going to consider those because that's something that you felt like was up there. And you never know, we could have missed something. And when we see those plays, that's a great call out for you. You get exposure. You're posting your plays in that top 10 tab. It gives us a lot more to review. So remember, guys, help us out too. Post your top 10s. Go in and clip your videos. Just so we can make this easier on Silent, because he does go through all these. And like he said, he had over 30 something clips that he had to go through to narrow this down to 10, which I couldn't do this. That's why I take no part in it. so throwing a shout out to Silent for doing that for us. And then Big Hurt, I'm going to throw this over to you, brother. Go ahead and close this out. And then you can go ahead and post that video for us. And then you can do the final closeout.
Yeah. I mean, as they just said, folks, this is something that not every league gives you. This is an additional feature added on. We'll owe Silent Poison a huge pat on the back. I thank you. This is a lot of time invested into something, putting these shoes on and doing stuff. This is all for you guys. So we hope you guys are enjoying it. Communicate, let us know what we can do. Give us topics that you want us to cover, talk about. Again, I'm the media guy. I'm open to things. If you're interested in getting on the show, let us know. I'd be happy to bring somebody in and talk about some stuff here as we go into and wrapping up season 1 and getting into season 2 and playing a whole other season with you guys. So again, we're excited. We're looking for the opportunity to expand, grow, and keep things engaging and interesting. This HFA top 10 plays is something, again, you're not getting in every week. So appreciate it. Watch it. Let us know what you need or how we can get better. Once again, this is HFA, Home Field Advantage, founded by J-Rock himself. He's also the commissioner for the College Football Dynasty. Silent Poison is the co-commissioner. My name is Big Hurt. I'm the media guy. Appreciate you guys tuning in. With further ado, let's get this started.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to
Oh my fucking god!